Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Tuning on CarX Drift Racing 2 with Broeghammer Auto House. Today's episode is all about the Falcon RZ, aka the FD RX7. We'll get right to it here. I am running no wide body kit, just the factory stuff. I changed out some bumpers and skirts to the appearance I liked the most. It's also tuned to Pro Drift 3, and we're going to walk through the whole tune settings here, and then we'll get it out on track and show you what it's capable of. As you can see, I've got my spring size there. I'm at 12.3. Spring stiffness is kind of in the middle. Sway bar is all the way stiff, which I always tend to do. Run 10 degrees of toe in the front. That's pretty common for me as well. And then I'm at negative 4.8 degrees of camber. Full caster, locked out. Ackerman's at about 63%. Full wheel divergence angle. Tightening, quick tightening, retraction, those settings down there. We're going to jump to the rear. And you'll see the tightening and retraction settings there, negative 1 degree of camber, another 10 degrees of toe, and just very minimal sway bar in the rear for extra grip. Got my spring stiffness turned up pretty high, and I'm at about 12.2 centimeters there. I typically do run square setups on my wheels, front and rear. In this particular case, I'm running a 19-265 by 35 profile in the front, and then a 285 in the rear, both at 200 in air pressure. Got all the engine stuff maxed out for the most horsepower, and here's my gearing. 0.63 on the diff, 414 overall gear ratios, and then I worked my way down to fourth and fifth gear. Fifth gear I have at a 106. I considered changing that a little bit higher to like a 107 or 8 on some of the big bank type tracks, like the one that's similar to Irwindale. It has a little bit of a struggle holding it up on the very edge of the bank there. A little bit of axis width here, mostly for fitment, but it also seemed to help the ride a little bit. The rear is almost a little pokey, but that's because I'm running a 285 back there, not a 265. So just a little different than my standard run through. Mass is all the way down 1150 kilograms, and here we go. So as you can see, it's a nice smooth clean transitions. It holds the turns well. I like to tell people that, you know, when you're drifting like this and say you get out a little too far and you want to bring the car back in a little bit, you just need to let off the throttle and those tires will grip up to allow you to bring that back forward. And then of course the opposite is true when you want to bring the car out a little bit wider. It's more ideal to be totally floored and just try to get that back end to really stay out there. Found a couple cool lines that I was running through on this track here. This is the testing track that they use when you go to tuning, and I thought it was kind of interesting to change it up a little bit and get into some more kind of small tight drifting type stuff, especially for the FDRX7. It's just a notorious drift car, obviously, and it was just really fun making these little montages. You can give me a hard time for my slow-mos and stuff, but they're pretty funny. I love finding these unique spots on certain tracks. When you go to single player, you can actually go in and select, rather than racing a certain track, you can pick to just do training, and then you have basically an open map for that particular course, and then you can go back and switch. It's a fun way to play around and just get used to the feel of a certain vehicle. Kind of slowed it down to show you some of the proximity stuff on a couple of these shots here. And a little later here in the video too, I go to in-car footage, which I'm not huge on the whole first-person driving in this game. It tends to be really difficult for me to see where everything's at, but it is much more realistic for how it would be if you were driving the vehicle in real life. So I like to change it up and do that sometimes. I've done the tournament contests, you know, like the top 32 type stuff in first person before, and it is much more difficult. So if you're looking for a new challenge, you can switch to that. I did run this one actually after I made the tune and everything through a tournament as well, and I did end up getting the victory in that. Unfortunately, while I was screen recording some of that, I forgot to turn on Do Not Disturb, and my siblings were texting me, so it just didn't work out. I had to delete the footage, so it just is what it is. Just some more fun lines here to play with, and if you guys have any questions, comments, please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if you want to see a certain tune for any particular vehicles. or if you have questions about the game in particular. I know a guy was asking about tire stickers on one of my last videos, and that is just a setting where if you're on sport tires, you don't have that. So get to a street or a semi-slick and you'll be good. Thanks again, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next time.